Today we're going to show you how to make crab or shrimp eyes using Solarez UV resin. So I'm using some Solarez UV thick formula. It seems to work the best. The viscosity seems to work really well. For the leader material, I'm just using some 30-pound fluorocarbon triple fish brand leader, cheap stuff. Don't need to use your big high dollar tippet for this. So what I've done right now is just cut the eyes, cut the pieces in about 4-inch strips. You can see there's a natural bend to it, not just because it's on the spool. I've kind of poured some of the Solarez into a little cup just to make it easier to get it in and out of. I've got my lamp here, and I've got a bunch of eyes back here that I've already done. So what we're going to do is show you an easy way to make eyes without having to melt the leader material. So we're just going to take your tip of this. We're going to dunk it in this Solarez UV resin until we get about the amount of resin that we want on there. And we're going to tilt it upside down so that the resin runs towards our fingertips for just about 2 to 3 seconds. And you see how it starts to get that point where the fluorocarbon is kind of showing through. So then we're going to turn it upside down and let it run away from our fingers. And so it starts to form that nice round shape. See that nice round shape we're getting? All right, because of this viscosity of this thick formula, I'm going to kind of let this bring it a little bit closer to the camera. Let you see that eye shape, or that ball, forming pretty nice and easy. Once we get the shape we want, we're just going to hit it with the light for 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to rotate our eye about 180 degrees. And then we're going to hit it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then last cure, we're going to do about 10 seconds. And we're just going to kind of rotate the eye just a little bit to get the resin fully cured here. Move the light up and down a little bit on that shaft, being sure that we're not hitting our resin reservoir over here. So I got that covered with my hand to kind of block it from the light. And what that does is it cures it really nice and easy. It's not tacky. I've got a paper towel here. As you can see, it's not sticking. But more importantly, I've got a piece of marabou feather here, and you can just kind of push it all up in there, and there's nothing sticking to it. As long as you cure that, it is not tacky. It doesn't stick. It doesn't stick to any of the eyes. So it's a lot easier that way than using a 2-part epoxy. So we're going to do this other side, and again, we're just going to dunk it in this resin, and we're using that Solarez UV thick brand resin. And if you get a little bit too much, you can always kind of scrape it off the side right there. And bring it upside down so it runs towards our fingers for just a couple seconds. And then flip it so it runs away from our fingers or down. What I like to do is bend it in half so I can see the size of my other eye in comparison. When it gets about the same size, I'm going to make sure that I can go ahead and hit it with my light. So hit it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to rotate it to make sure we get the other side evenly and hit it for 5 seconds. And then we're going to wait about 5 seconds, and then we're going to hit the whole thing again for 10 seconds. So rotate a little bit, move your light back and forth. We want to make sure we get all of that resin cured as much as we can. And what we end up with is a nice set of eyes that took no melting, took no prep time, really simple and easy. And if you want to color it, I'm just going to set this down for a minute. If you want to color this, Solarez just released all these nice colors. So I'm going to use some Solarez color black here. And I'm just going to open this up. I'm going to do this kind of the same way. I'm going to put this over here. Pardon me for just a minute. And I'm just going to brush this on. Rather than dunking this, I'm just going to kind of brush this on nice and lightly. You don't want to go too much at first. Just kind of move the brush around there, brush it on. Gets a little excess, let it drip off. Just like that, hit it against the side of the jar. Now you can also color it with a marker, just like traditional. Or if you want a nice black eye that's UV, we're just gonna let it cure. So again, 5 seconds, all right? Rotate it a little bit, hit it for 5 seconds. And there you go, all right? So 10 seconds on that last time. And this color from UV resin is about the same viscosity as the thick. I think it's actually a little more towards the medium viscosity, but it still takes a few seconds for the stuff to run. So it's not real thin like the thin formula, or anywhere close to water. So you've got a few seconds to work with this. So if you make a mistake, it's not that big a deal. You can kind of paint this on there if you want to. You can rotate this. You can kind of hold this upside down if you want to. However you want to get that color, wherever you want that color. And once it gets where you want it, you can hit it with the light. Remember, 5 seconds to cure. Rotate it 180 degrees. 5 seconds to cure. Take it away for 5 seconds. And then we're just going to cure the whole thing. So once you cure that for that last 10 seconds, it's dry. It's not tacky. It's not sticky. It's not going to stick to anything. The eyes look pretty good. So these are a bunch of eyes that I've already made up. Nice and easy to shape, easy to form. These are some of the colors I've done. So I've got some red with a black tip, some black ones, some black ones. This is actually topaz here, and then this is a white, kind of a unique little color. And then this is one of my favorite looking colors. This is kind of a natural color. This is the copper shimmer from Solarez brand resins. It's a nice colored crab eye. It looks really, really good. So I'm going to make a few of those in that. So that is basically it. And as you can see, these are not tacky. They're not sticking. Really simple and easy to do. Again, it's Solarez stick. You can use the Solarez colors. Just remember to block your color there. And we'll do this one more time real quick without me talking. So we're just going to dunk it. Upside down towards your fingers and then away from your fingers. You want to get that shape, that eye shape that you want. So I'm going to kind of bring this up a little bit closer. So if you hold it straight up and down, it's going to form that kind of water droplet, so it gets that nice eye shape. If you hold it at an angle, it's going to get kind of oblong. So make sure the tip of it is upside down exactly the way you want it. Once you get the shape, we're just going to cure it for 5 seconds. Rotate it. Cure it for 5 seconds. Shut off the light for 5 seconds. And then we're going to cure it for 10. You want to hold that light about 1 to 3 inches away. We're not going to really worry about shrinkage too much on this. It is just an eye. Okay, so there's one side. Repeat the same process for the other side. Going to dunk that just a little bit in there. Kind of twirl it. Get a little excess. You can kind of knock it off. There we go. Now if you get it so it kind of looks like that at first, don't worry about it, because you want to run it upside down towards your fingers. Remember, turn it the opposite way so it runs away from your fingers. And it starts to form that nice eyeball shape. Remember, hold it straight up and down so that it drips like a water droplet would. Once it gets to the shape and the size you want, you're going to cure that for 5 seconds. Rotate it 180 degrees. Cure it for 5 seconds. Shut it off for 5 seconds. And then that last cure is just 10 seconds long. So we want to move that, rotate the eye around between your fingers here. Move the light up and down. Make sure you get the whole length of wherever your resin's sitting. And then that is it. And if you want to color it, you can color it. And there is a nice set of eyes. Didn't take any burning, any shaping, anything like that. Just dunk it. Now if you decide that you want larger eyes, you can always redunk this, even in the shape that it's in. So I'm just going to kind of dunk this a little bit. Say I wanted a larger eye, I just dunked that because it already has the shape we wanted. I'm going to kind of spin that, and we're going to cure it. Now we don't have to wait to make the shape form because we already formed that shape. And we're just going to cure that. Cure it for another 5 seconds. And then cure it for 10. And now we have a much larger eye than we do on the other side. And it's really, really easy to get your size of eye that you want just by dunking it 2 or 3 times. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. Thank you very much.